All right, well, good morning. We want to welcome everyone to First Friday. On behalf of the Independence Chamber of Commerce in the City of Independence, we want to welcome you. We're all excited to see your smiling faces, even though they're all behind masks right now. So we're glad that we were able to gather and be together. This is the first time in a long time that we've met. We've always been meeting through YouTube and Facebook Live, but it's fun to be able to get back together. I'm going to slip off my mask. Our speakers are adequately distanced up here. Hopefully you guys will mask back up when you're done eating those muffins that have been provided this morning, and you're enjoying that hot coffee from Annie Mae's. So with that, we hope that you remain safe during the event of First Friday. So before we hear from our 5 great speakers that are up here with me this morning, I want to thank our business sponsors. So our business sponsor this morning is Enbridge Pipeline, and Brent Rush is the Senior Community Engagement Advisor for Enbridge, and he sends greetings from Cushing, Oklahoma. So we are very appreciative at the Chamber for their support of our events, and they're very supportive of the City of Independence as well. So we know Brent told me yesterday he's watching on Facebook Live, so we'll give him a big shout out and give Enbridge and Brent a round of applause of appreciation. Because without Brent and Enbridge, you guys would just be sitting there with your masks on and not enjoying that hot coffee and those good muffins. So if you're planning any outdoor digging projects this spring or summer, always call 811 before you start to dig. We're protecting our underground utilities. You're protecting you and your family, keeping everyone safe. So every digging project, no matter how large or small, always warrants a free call to 811. So I wanted to give you that message from Brent and Enbridge, so everybody stay safe. Let's go over a few things that are happening in the community. Everybody has that calendar that Madison puts together. It's a 2-sided calendar, so everyone watching on Facebook Live is like, well, that's nice, but I can't see that calendar. But this afternoon, you'll be able to see it. We will publish it on Facebook. We'll put it on our website. We will flash it out, and all the information will be there. However, if we've made a mistake, we forgot something, you have a little bit after First Friday to call the office, get it corrected before it gets published. So here we go. There will be no cooking tonight. Nada. You are supposed to go to the St. Andrews Knights of Columbus Fish Fry. It's tonight and the 19th. No cooking. And they're having 3-piece fish meal, French fries, coleslaw, hush puppies for $10. That is great deal, and it sounds amazing even right now. Carry out only 5:30 to 7, and I want to let you know that the Knights of Columbus give a lot of money to the community. They support a lot of causes, and they usually have their food truck at Newalla, and this year we didn't have Newalla that had food trucks, and so they are down on their fundraising, and they give to a lot of things. The Midwest Pregnancy Care Center, the Cuff Meals, the Food Pantry. They do a Love Independence Day project, and they support After Prom, and they're just asking that we give them some support so that they can raise some funds and push those funds right back out into the community. So no cooking tonight. Got it? Tomorrow is recycling from 8 to noon at the Recycling Center, 21st and Maple. Hog waddle. What in the world is hog waddle? So if you have a motorcycle or you know anything about motorcycles, you know what a hog waddle is. But for those of us who don't know what a hog waddle is and don't have a motorcycle, we need to know that we need to be careful and considerate and be aware of our motorcyclists when they are on the road. So Hog Waddle is an event. It's a fundraiser for ABATE District 3. They're going to be out on the roads tomorrow. Registration is at 1 at the VFW. First bike out is at 2. And what that means for all of us as well is when you see those motorcyclists on the roads, don't get up close to them. Let them be safe on the road. So ABATE raises money so that they can continue to promote safety and awareness for motorcyclists. Every Tuesday, for quite a few months now, we've been having free food distribution boxes out in the Park Oval, and that will continue through April. So if you know of someone or you need some extra food, it's free to everyone. It doesn't matter your income at all. It has meats and produce and dairy, and a gallon of milk come with it. And you line up out at the park oval and you go through. And we've been running out the last few weeks, and we're seeing a lot more people coming. So if you are watching or you're in the audience right now and you've been going and picking up 2 and 3 boxes, they're going to scale it back to 1 and 2 so that we can get more food to more families. And so what you'll do is if you say, well, but I'm getting some for my daughter and my grandmother and myself, we had been typically letting you put 3 in the car. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but they're trying to stretch that out, and they'll probably have you get one and then go back and get in line again so that we can get as many boxes out to as many families as we can. So, couple of things at Indie Brew Works. Not every community has a brewery, but we have a brewery, and I wanted to let you know that they're doing some fun things at the brewery. On Wednesday night, they have mixtape bingo. Apparently, they play songs and you play bingo, and it sounds like a lot of fun. So check that out. And then if trivia is your thing, Thursday night is trivia, so be sure and check that out as well. Now, the brewery does not serve food, and the best part about that is nobody has to argue that they don't like anything on the menu. You can go anywhere in town, get food. You can go get some fish tonight, and then you can go to the brewery. But you can pick whatever you want, bring your food into the brewery, and the brewery is a family-friendly environment. It's a great place to go to get custom brews, local wines, and amazing root beer. So go to Dairy Queen, get some ice cream, then go to the brewery and dump root beer over the top of it. Independence Community College basketball is going to happen next week. So there's a big game happening with our county rival, Coffeyville Ravens. It's always a fun game when we get together and play Coffeyville. And it'll be on IndyPirates.com is where you're going to watch it. And then if you're a part of the Booster Club, they're doing some limited capacity in the gymnasium, but you need to watch Facebook to see what the details are about that. But that'll be a fun game. The funniest play that'll make you cry is going to be on March the 12th through the 14th. Independence Community College is presenting Steel Magnolias. That's all I'm going to say because Paige Petruka is one of the 4 people that are scheduled to do shout-outs at the end of the event, and she will tell you more. Saturday on March the 13th, another reason you don't cook breakfast that day, the Masonic Lodge is making pancakes. It's all-you-can-eat pancakes, sausage and eggs for $5. Breakfast will be served from 7 to 11. You can dine in at 2000 West Laurel, or you can call 331-2349 for carryout. So, fish tonight. Next Saturday morning, it's pancakes, and the next Friday is more fish. Brewery beer. We've got the pub crawl coming up. That's Saturday, March the 13th from 6 to 10. And the pub crawl is being sponsored by all of the local bars and restaurants that serve alcohol in the downtown area. And there's lots of them, so there's lots of place to spread out. We're not going to have a super spreader in one bar because Dickie's is going to be part of that, Gary, and your place is crazy huge. So there's all kinds of room to spread out. And so it's VFW, Uncle Jack's, Turbo's, Brothers, Dickie's, and the brewery are all participating in that. Passports are $5. You can buy one at any of those locations. And then at the end, they're going to take all those monies and give it out as prize money as well. And I think that's going to be over by Brothers, maybe. Is that where you think? We haven't determined that yet. So watch Facebook. Okay. It'll be outside somewhere, yes. Little House on the Prairie opens the Monday of our spring break, the 15th. So put that on your calendar. It's always fun to go out there. Admission's $3 for adults, $1 for kids. And beyond the log cabin, the schoolhouse, the post office, the gift store, they have mules and donkeys and miniature ponies. That's lots of fun. And lots of outdoor space available out there. So check out the Prairie. Larry Markevich is in the house. He's going to be talking about Some events on March 19th and the 22nd that have to do with the music program, so he's part of our shout-out team. Kansas Works is having a virtual job fair, and that's March the 23rd through the 25th. Check out kansasworks.com. Football season is in the middle of basketball season because thanks to COVID, but we're excited about that, and we have the new head football coach here with some of his players, so we'll be talking about the game on the 26th. Kansas Airstrip Attack is coming on April the 17th and 18th. So, Coach, you want to make sure you get some players out to this because this is going to be super cool. So, exotic, expensive, one-of-a-kind performance cars and drivers from all over the country will be out there. They're drag racing side by side right down the airport's runway. Spectators will see Lamborghinis, Porsches, Ferraris reaching top speeds of close to 200 miles per hour. They'll even have motorcyclists out there. Our own Paul Lemon was out there going almost 200 miles an hour on a motorcycle. It was crazy. But anyway, it's fun, it's cool, and you want to check it out. A couple of new things this year. We're going to have roll racing. 16 of the top racers from around the country are going to be out there doing roll racing. That's when you start from a 40-mile-an-hour roll. And then 2 car clubs are going to be rallying in, Drive KC and KC Exotic Car Club. And they're going to have their cars on display, and they're going to race as well. There's going to be an after party at Brothers outside. So if you don't get a ticket to go to the event, many of the drivers are going to be bringing their fancy cars down and putting on a car show right out in front of Brothers. So you'll be able to bring the family and check out those cars and take pictures of those. And that'll be Saturday night at 7. And then I want to let everyone know that if you're a chamber member, they're letting chamber members come out and set up booths. And so if you want to showcase your merchandise that you're selling, something you're making, your business, get in touch with me, and we'll give you all the details to be able to set up free booth space out there with the cost of a ticket. So I think the ticket's like $20 or $25. You have 2 days worth of free booth space to get your business in front of hundreds of people. This blue passport is from the Museum Alliance. We have some over on the table over there, so if you're interested in this, grab one when you go. This is a passport that takes you to all of the most of the museums in the region. And I believe there are like 34 that are on here, and 7 of them are actually in our county. And it's just a fun way for you to take the passport. You go around, you visit all of the museums, you get your passport stamped at the back, and then if you go to enough of them, you get your name in for a drawing for up to like $300 if you're able to travel around. So this is another fun family event you could do in the spring and the summer, is get out and enjoy some of our history that we have. The blood drive is going to be April the 7th, so mark that on your calendar. Love Independence is going to be on April 24th. One of our speakers is going to talk about that. And did anybody see the planting that just took place on Oak Street? All those trees out there? So we're really excited about that. Take a look at the screen. The Pride Committee was approached by a gentleman named Robert Folk, who came into the chamber office one day and said, "You know what? Have you ever thought that maybe we should plant new trees on Oak Street?" And he continued to talk. He lives right by Oak Street. And continued to tell me all about his passion for trees and how beautiful it would be and how he always enjoys the colors of the trees. And he thought maybe we should do oak trees in there. Well, we have a tree board in Independence, so we went to the Pride Committee. We talked about it. We thought it was great. We approached the tree board, and they're the tree experts. And they selected this tree that'll actually flower in the spring and turn in the fall. And we started raising money for those trees, as you may or may not know, some First Fridays ago. And within hours, we had almost all of the what I thought was going to be 15 paid for. And we actually had 16 paid for, and they're going to plant 18. So if you are interested in contributing to a tree, they're $229. And they're already beautiful. We're super excited to have those in our park and part of the beauty of the trees in our community, because we are a Tree City, USA. And also, we've got some flags that are flying in the downtown area. So you heard from Doug Harlan last time. If you want to be a part of the flag project, $75 will take care of one flag to be replaced twice a year, and there are 98 flags, I believe. So if you want to be a part of keeping the red, white, and blue flying in our community, you can contribute. You can bring a check by the chamber office. We'll collect those, but make it out, I believe, to Community Foundation for Independence, and they're setting up the fund there, and that will be a tax-deductible donation. If you need information, look on our website, look on our Facebook page, read the Reporter. We put it in the WhatsApp. In that edition on Friday, we also we publish our calendar in the Reporter as well. We have live radio spots on KIND 94.9. We do a taped community calendar that plays 4 times a day, Monday through Friday, on Indy 102.9 and KIND 94.9, sponsored by Dairy Queen. And we truly, I say that because we appreciate that free airtime so that we can get all of this information out to our community. And then we do a morning interview on KGGF 690. And that one is super because we get about 20, 30 plus minutes of airtime. Paige Petruka was just with me last Tuesday, and we had a really good interview with her. So with that, we're going to start with our speakers. We've got great speakers lined up. We've got the coach from the college. We've got Tabitha and Lori who are going to talk about that gathering space right across from the brewery that we're excited about. We have Gary who's going to tell us all about Love Independence and get us energized for that. And last but not least, we have Rick Whitson from the county as our emergency director, and he's going to tell us everything we need to know about how to get that shot. So with that, let's get started, and I would like to welcome to the podium Coach Jason Martin and 4 of the ICC football players.
Good morning. First, we'd like to start off by thanking the Chamber of Commerce to allowing us to give the opportunity to come up here and talk to you guys about our program. We're very excited about what's going on right now. Personally, I'm really excited. This is my 6th year in the state of Kansas, 5th year in independence. Our family loves it here, and to be a part of these kids' future and represent this great city is an opportunity and a blessing that I truly cherish. As you guys heard, we have a game coming up March 26th, which is a Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. Against Butler County. Big game. We definitely are 2 of the top teams in the conference, and we're looking forward to competing for another conference championship. Coach Harris left this program in great hands. Being the defensive coordinator, assistant head coach here, we're pretty much just keeping that train running. And what I mean by that is not just necessarily on the football field, but as far as in the community. We want to make sure that we stay active and be a part of this community because we're only as strong as this community. Currently we have 8 players that have Division I offers on our football team, and we're looking to add more to that. With one of them being here right now, DeMarcus Griffin, who just recently picked up an offer from Washington State University. We're a very talented team. We're making sure that we're staying on top of the academics because, again, the reason why we're having so much success is not necessarily what we're doing on the football field, but it's the things that people don't see as far as what we're doing in the classroom, how we interact in the community, the hours that we put in the study hall and into the weight room, and those are the things that make a football program. After our first game against Butler, we go into a bye week, and then we go into a 5-game stretch. We look forward to having people out to our games. We only have 3 home games this year, so make sure you take advantage of that and come out and see us. Anybody that's involved in the Booster Club or that's looking to be involved in the Booster Club, I'm actually going to have a meet and greet Q&A next Tuesday at the Country Club. That's going to be at 12 o'clock p.m. So if you guys want, please come out, and if you have any questions or any reservations or anything about the program, please let me know, because one thing I pride myself on, our staff prides ourselves on, is being transparent. Okay, so right now I'm just going to pass the mic on to former players current players, and kind of let them, tell you guys who they are, because one thing that's unique about our program is that we have guys all across the nation that are in our program, and they become a family. We have a tight bond, and I think that's what makes our football program special.
How you guys doing? I'm glad to be here. Okay. Hey, how you guys doing? I'm glad to be here today. My name is DeMarcus Griffin. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I play DB here at ICC Community College, and I hope to bring another championship to this city and this program.
Thank you for having me be here today. I'm Javier Duran. I play defensive tackle, and I'm from Jackson, New Jersey.
Hello, my name is Caleb Herbal. I'm a slot receiver, and I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
Thank you all for having us here today. My name is James Shores. I'm a kicker, and I'm from Tallahassee, Florida.
All right, the reason why I chose these four to come with me and represent our programs because not only are they good football players, but they're great student athletes altogether. They're great men. They model our program. They do the things that we want done in our program, and they represent you well. They represent this community well, and they're not the only ones, but we only got so much room in the car, so I can only bring so many, But, the one thing that's special about this group, win or lose, they are a family, and we understand that this community is behind us and they support us, and we want to continue that, and we want to make sure that you guys understand that we know that. And again, we want to be transparent. Anything that's happening in the community, any help that needs to be, we want to be involved. And I want to make sure that you guys understand that. Please reach out, please support us, please come to the games, and not just us, please come to all athletic events. Today we have a volleyball game tonight at 6 p.m. We actually have a couple of players working that game, and like Lisa said, we actually are in the middle of basketball season and have a big game against that team down there next week. So please come out and support. All right, thank you.
Well, thank you, and Coach, congratulations. We know that the college has full faith in you, and you're not new to the program, you've been around, and so we're excited. We know that Kiyoshi passed the football on to you, and that the program's in great shape, and we welcome you guys to our community. I was talking to you before we started, and some of you are from big cities, Los Angeles, but there's no place better than Independence, Kansas. So you're going to love your time here. If you ever get bored and you want to get off campus, you tell Coach to get a hold of me, and we'll get some things lined up and get you some fun things planned and some activities. We hope you participate and love Independence Day as you have in the past. And I do want to give a shout out to them because they were, not these particular four, but four of the team were at recycling last month volunteering out there, and they did such a great job of passing out calendars and greeting the public. So we appreciate your community service back to the community, but we really love Independence Community College. We're thrilled that our community has a community college because it offers a lot to the people who live here, and athletics is a part of that, the theater is a part of that, the music program is a part of that. Not every community has all that we have, so we're going to make a commitment to you guys that we're going to socially distance in those stands. We're not going to fill them up, but we will be out there to cheer you on and watch you play in a few more weeks. So thanks for coming. They're going to slip out because they got to get to practice. All right, next up will be Tabitha and Lori. Tabitha Snodgrass from Independence Main Street, and Lori Kelly, who's an Independence Main Street committee member and longtime board member. And they're going to share with you all the latest and greatest on what is really happening at 210 West Main. Please welcome Tabitha and Lori.
Lisa, thank you for inviting us. We're happy to share this information. We have a lot of people asking questions about the project, wanting information on what it might look like in a little more detail. So we're happy to share that with you. You probably noticed some activity at 210 West Main. Over the last year or so, a lot of things have happened there. But it started out as a Main Street Economic Revitalization Committee vision and Main Street Board. We were looking for ways to develop a gathering space for the community. Our vision for it was a place that could have the gathering space for everyone, further beautify our downtown, support our local restaurants who seriously have been challenged through the COVID pandemic. We wanted to also encourage tourism and people to come to our community. We wanted outdoor living space for our downtown residents. There are a lot of people who live in downtown Independence, and they don't have an outdoor green space to go get some fresh air and sunshine. We wanted a place that could support the local arts. We're hoping that there can be art shows at this place, inch presentations and performances, music concerts, and local vendor events, as well as a location for food trucks to be located in our downtown. We also see it as a great meeting place for class reunions, civic organizations, and other entities that are looking for a COVID-friendly place to meet and still be safe. Tabitha has worked countless hours on this project. She's been a great resource for our community, and I'm going to let her share the project details with you.
All right, thank you, Lori. So, first of all, is Mr. Vermillion here? We invited him this morning. I'm not sure. Okay. John Vermillion was the one that donated 2 lots. There are 3 lots there at what we're calling 210 West Main, and he donated 2, and then with the donation from a generous business owner, we were able to purchase the 3rd lot that used to be the wagon wheel. So this date, I'm sure, October 23rd of 2008, I know David probably, if he thinks about it, will know it, Rick, not sure who else is here. So that was the night of the Doodah Parade when Marty Richenberger was the Generalissimo. And shortly after 6 o'clock, I think they got a call, and the fire trucks pulled out of the Doodah Parade and went to the downtown to work that fire. So that was it, yeah. So why I bring that date up, so that has been an eyesore in our community. Madison, if you'll, oh yeah, you have it, okay, sorry. So that has been an eyesore in our community since October of 2008, so 13 years. So I think at one point, we just kind of get used to driving by there. At first we look at it and we're like, oh yeah, that's terrible, and then, you know, the years go by and it just is there, and nobody has done anything with it. So, Lori, you want to give us the second one? I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what it was looking like when we took it over there. So. Is there another before? So we started with this, and then a couple months ago, was it before Christmas, I think, we had a work day there, and I have to laugh at Mr. Vermillion. He wanted the shed, and so we agreed to move the shed to his property, and he told us there was a small hole underneath the shed. As you can see over there, there was a basement under that shed. I went to Miranda. Lori and I were just like, and Greg, we were standing there, and they pulled that off, and we were like, ah. And so I called Mike Pursuer, and I said, I'm going to need some barricades and some caution tape. That's more than a hole. And bless their heart, it was 4 o'clock on like a Friday, and within 2 minutes, they were there. The street department was there with some barricades for us and caution tape, and we secured that area, but I still, to this day, get a kick out of the small hole there. So then we did our work day, and we had several show up and start working there. There we go. So we took the front, that was covered in a what did you call it? Stucco. Again, yeah. And it was very ugly, and it had to come off according to the city's ordinances with that. It has to be brick or stone, so we went to work on that. And what we thought we were going to be there for 2 hours on one Saturday morning ended up being, I think, 8 to 7 on Saturday and maybe 10 to 8 on Sunday. But we got it done. There's your own City Commissioner Hayes up on that lift working away. Then we ended with, there we go. So the one on the far right here is what we ended up with. There's our guys, and Lori is installing windows. I said, Lori, you wanna work on the front or install windows? And she's like, I know how to do windows. I'm doing that. I was like, you go, girl. So she's got skills. My husband was impressed. He was like, man, I got some talented labor now. So, and this is what it is looking like today. When Lisa brought up the 811 dig, yes, that is very important. We're kind of at a standstill right now, is that we've hit a gas line there, and I think Atmos was out there for 4 hours one day trying to get that all squared away. So we are moving. It doesn't look like we have done, I mean, obviously today it looks much better than the before pictures. It does seem to be at a standstill right now, but I promise you we are still working. There's just a lot of problems getting supplies, getting everyone, the weather, all kinds of stuff. So our big dream, we'll move on. When we first went to this project, I went to Miranda and Sean and I said, this is what we want, and they came up with a grand, fabulous idea. Well, when we got the price tag on that, we're like, yeah, we're gonna have to phase this. And so Miranda went back to the drawing boards and they came up with phase 1 here. So at the end of, I'm saying April probably, this is what you're going to be looking at in that area down there. So yes, that is phase 1. As you can see, so we're going to have some food truck parking over there on the right. We'll have the green space in the middle. On the left will be some seating, which, you know, if you're going to have a big event there, the food trucks, we have made the electrical, well, when they get to the electrical, we'll be able to, the food trucks can use the parking stalls in the front and plug in the street. That way they're still not running a generator, and you can use the whole area for seating. The green space in the middle, that is one that we're still working on, trying to fund, figuring out if we want to do a turf or sod or how we want to do it. You know, it's going to be beautiful however we do it. We just want to hopefully maybe not mow it all the time. So, so there's that. The planters, the lighting, we'll have all that. So phase 2, depending on our fundraising efforts, when we move forward, we have a couple different options for that. So this was our grand option, right? This was the grand option that Miranda came with us at first and we fell in love with and kind of gave us the dream. As you can see, there's some covered areas there. There's art, there's a stage, there's the front fencing there with the brick and stuff. And we absolutely positively love this design, but it does come with a price tag. And so after phase 1, and then we move on to phase 2, and then this is another option for phase 2. We've kind of cut it back, did a little more covering over the top, but maybe not to the extreme that we had in the first one. So like I say, depending on, after we get phase 1 done, we were going to gather a fundraising team and see what we can accomplish from that. So a couple big thank yous. So like I say, Sean and Miranda have put in countless hours also, and so we want to thank Heckman, Bruning, and King for their efforts on this project, because without them, we had a meeting with the lady yesterday helping us with the grant, and she said it is so amazing to come here to work on something when there's already a grand plan in there. She's like, most of the time they tell me what they want, and I'm like, but you need something. I need something on paper. And so she was like, these plans are amazing. So I have to give a big shout out to them for doing all of that. The YPIs have donated to this project, and I think we'll get to that in a little bit. Many volunteers, and we are going to do a formal thank you to, we have a few business owners that have donated to our project. We had $20,000 from Spark funding. start the project, which was great because all the work that we had done was not going to pay off until we got the retaining wall in the back, because that sets up 4 feet higher than the bottom. So everything we did down here was just going to be washed away at the first rain, because all that was going to run down and just take out everything we'd done there. So we had to start with that retaining wall, which who knew that they were so expensive? So that was basically our whole Spark funding was taking care of that. So we will, like I say, we will have several more work days. We will put that out there for you to volunteer your time, talent, and then we will have a formal thank you and recognize those business owners, Mr. Vermillion, and such. But we kind of want to wait and hold off on that. But what we do want, we have been pondering a name for these lots for, I don't know, Lori and Julie, months, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And we just couldn't find something that stuck. And we finally came up with a name. And then I went to Miranda and I said, here's our name. What can we come up with that's going to stand out and people will recognize it? And so coming to you in spring of 2021 is Patio 210 by Independence Main Street. So there you go. Anyway, thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you. Congratulations. That's a super cool location, and it is. It's a beautiful location for all of us as community members to gather. It's going to be a place that when we have outdoor events, we'll be able to use that. When people are coming into town and want to have an outdoor space, it will be available to them as well. So with that, I want to do a check presentation. We have some young professionals that are here. We're going to do it right up front so Tana can grab a picture. So everybody involved with the Young Professionals group, Michelle and Miranda and anybody, Gavin and Tabitha and Lori, you guys want to get up here, and then the Chamber of Commerce is going to present a check as well. So what you need to know while they're coming up here is YPI has donated $8,000 to the project, and the Chamber of Commerce Convention and Visitors Bureau has donated $5,000 in guest tax as well to the project. So we're going to come up here and take a little picture. So we're excited about that. And they still have some fundraising that needs to take place. So if you know of any grants or any organizations, or you personally want to contribute to the cause, be sure and get in touch with Tabitha. All right. So it is the 6th annual Love Independence Day coming up April the 24th. We had big plans for a 5th year celebration. And thanks to COVID, it got squelched just a little bit, but we're not going to let COVID get in the way. We continue to have some mini projects around the community. We had Love Independence 2.0 in the summer months. And as usual, on the 4th Saturday of every April, we are going to celebrate the 6th annual Love Independence Day. So please welcome Gary Hogsett, who's going to talk to us about Love Independence Day. He's a part of the Pride Committee, and he's going to give us lots of really good information. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm not sure about the part about the good information, but it's hard for me to get serious when I talk, especially to this group, because this group is never serious. But it's been a tough year. It's been a really, really tough 12 months. When Lisa first came to the Pride Committee 6 years ago and said, I think we should have a Love Independence Day, we kind of thought it was one of those warm and fuzzy things, and yeah, that would be nice. But it turned out to be a fantastic event. But almost in the past kind of felt optional, you know, like the city's doing great. Well, the city has had a tough time. I mean, everybody has, but tough year. People are struggling. Depression is way up. Depression is up 300% according to recent studies by the AMA. And one study in particular, Massachusetts General Hospital, says that their study shows the biggest cause of that is social distancing. You know, we're social animals. We need to be together, and we've missed that this year. Everybody's staying apart, and you know, you don't walk up to a stranger on the street and hug them like we used to, and handshakes are a little more optional than they used to be. So I feel like this is a year we really, really need to step up. A lot of people are hurting, and you know, the Bible. I keep a Bible by my nightstand. Not that I ever read it, but I did read it quickly this morning, and fellowship is talked about, I think, like 19 times. I mean, fellowship is a big deal. We're social creatures. We need time together. Remember, the first miracle, for Jesus' first miracle in the Bible is at a celebration, right? He changes water into wine so the party can continue, right? I mean, come on, we need to do this. Now, in my mind, the biggest miracle in that story is that his mother asks him to do it. You know, Lisa, how many times when you were in high school did your mom say, "No, we can't let this party end. Go get more wine, Lisa"? I mean, that's just the biggest miracle of all time in my mind. You know, the younger group, the younger crowd, I'll say under 40, they don't have conversations, it seems to me. They do texting. And I'm almost certain, I haven't read the whole Bible, I'm almost certain it never mentions texting. It never says, you know, get up on Sunday morning and text your friends and say, "Hey, dude, what's up?" You know, it talks about fellowship, and it never. I'm sure the Bible never mentions Zoom meetings. If it does, I missed it. But we have been deprived of time with our friends, you know, our family. Our Coach Martin said moments ago, "We are family. Win or lose, we are family." And I've always felt that way about Independence. We've been warmly welcomed since we moved here. And Love Independence Day is very much needed this year. Some people still don't want to do a lot of contact. I totally understand that, but there are so many other ways to reach out. Again, the group under 40, I'll define my terms here. A letter is something you write on paper. You know, you could write a letter and say, "Kelly Passeur, thank you for all you do." I mean, she's got a tough job. Or our police officers. Jerry says, "Don't take them any more cookies. They're all trying to get fit," but, you know. But what about a letter saying, "Thank you so much"? If you don't want to get out for Love Independence Day, how about a letter to some of these hardworking, you know, community leaders, and I mean our firemen, our people who pick up our trash every morning. I'm out there early in the morning. I see how hard these guys work, and in brutal weather conditions the last few weeks. Showing love to one another is it's tricky, you know, in our society. I can say I love the people in this room. I can get away with that if I say, "Greg Kelly, I love you, man." He's going to be creeped out, right? He's going to be totally creeped out, and everybody in the room is creeped out hearing me say it. Sorry about that. If I were to say, yeah, he'll never make eye contact with me again since I said that. Now, it's much worse if I say, "Lori Kelly, I love you like crazy," because then Greg is going to beat the crap out of me. Everybody in the room is creeped out. Lori is creeped out. And when I get home, oh my God, my wife will beat me up way worse than Greg did. So, I mean, it's tricky to show love, which is why I love that we have this Love Independence Day. There's so many ways we can do that. You know, we've painted houses. We have groups that pass things out, that just do jobs for people that can't do them. One year, an elderly woman said, "I can no longer do stairs. I can't get to my basement to clean it." And so I was one of a couple people that went over and helped her clean her basement. It was wonderful. You know, we benefited from that more than she did. I'm willing to bet. She did get her basement cleaned, but we felt so great to be able to help her out. And the opportunities for that kind of thing are just endless. So I'd really, really ask you to think about it this year. We're still, you know, 7 or 8 weeks out. We'll do some painting some houses like we've done in the past. We're hoping to have 5 or 6 houses. I feel like I'd be remiss not to say, speaking of mourning, that we lost Jerry Bright recently, who was kind of the heart and soul behind that effort to help people who needed help with their houses. And another reason to mourn the past few months is when we've lost close friends. I lost several close friends. I know you did too. I didn't lose any particular close friends to COVID, but they passed from other causes, and we can't get together. We can't get together and mourn and grieve, and then celebrate. Celebrate this person that we got to have them in our lives. So, been a tough year in many ways. So, I'm just really asking that we step up our game. Step up our game on April 24th, our 6th Love Independence Day. Be thinking about there's so much you can do to show love without creeping them out. To show love or show love to the city as a whole. We do cleanup projects. We do fantastic projects like Tabitha and Lori were just telling us about. Anyway, I would really ask that you reach out, spread the word that we really want to have a great showing on April 24th, and really spread the love to everyone you can. Thank you.
We have a problem. You're way tall. My goodness. Well, thank you for that, and I hope that you all do give some thoughtful consideration to Love Independence Day. So we want to reach out to our churches. We want to reach out to our civic organizations. We want to reach out to our neighborhoods, our families, individuals. As he said, just write a thank you note, write a letter. There's so many different things that you can do. You can go online, you can Google search random acts of kindness, and all kinds of things are going to pop up. We have a Facebook page that is a Love Independence Day page. And so we will be pushing information out on our Facebook page called Get Independence, but also on the Love Independence page as well. So keep, watch that, like that page, and follow along. We're going to be doing some potentially 24 days in preparation for the 24th, throwing out ideas of things that you can do. But be thinking now, as Gary said, we've got 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks before Love Independence Day. So there's going to be lots of opportunity to just randomly show people kindness that day. So we look forward to seeing that. But we also want you to you don't have to let the cat out of the bag completely. But if you're planning something, let us know, because one of the gifts that we get that day is a free publication of the Independence Daily Reporter. And they showcase many of the Love Independence Day projects from the past, but they also showcase some things that are going to be happening that day, so that when you're driving around, you might be able to witness some of these random acts of kindness that are happening when they're really like big projects and things. So if you have something that you have planned and you want to get that out in the newspaper, be sure and let us know. We're collecting all of that, and then we'll be turning it over to Tana, and she always does a really good job, writes lots of good articles, and Josh Umholtz fully supports us, so we appreciate that early morning edition of the Independence Daily Reporter. So we're ready for our last speaker. Dang, he has had a rough year. It's we all think we've had it hard. These people that are involved, David Cowan and the city and of Independence and the Montgomery County, it's been difficult for them to keep us all well informed about what is going on, and they have to keep themselves well informed. I do want to give a shout out to the city of Independence, in particular David Cowan, our new assistant city manager, that when COVID hit, we started having a leadership conference call every day. And I've said this before, but there are like 18 people on this call. And almost without fail, all 18 are on the call every time. And we were meeting every day. And it was, you talk about depression, it was really hard to get on that call because it was not positive at all. It was very distressing to be on that call, but it was very helpful for all of us to be on that call together and work together and support each other as we were all trying to navigate this situation. And David would always coordinate these calls for all of us, and we would jump on and be on there for an hour plus. We were on Saturdays. And then as we progressed through COVID, we started meeting less often. And now we're meeting every Wednesday, once a week, and it continues to be very beneficial as we jump on those calls. Not nearly as depressing as it used to be, but still very, very informative about what is going on. And so I just want to say thank you to David and Kelly and everybody else who puts those calls together, and for all of the information that you guys study up on to be able to keep us well informed. And sometimes citizens, I didn't know this until I started working at the chamber, you don't know what really goes on behind the scenes, but there are so many people like them who are working hard to do what's best for all of us and to keep us safe. And Rick is definitely one of those. You know, the people I just spoke about are taking care of our city, but Rick has got the job of championing the county. And, he posts things on social media. He gives out his cell number. He answers his cell on weekends when he's in with his family. When I call, he answers texts late at night asking questions about vaccinations. So I wanted to bring him here so that he could share with you the latest and greatest regarding the vaccinations, the process, and I'm sure lots of other very valuable information. So would you please welcome Rick Whitson.
I set my timer. I'm told that I will be scolded if I go over 15 minutes. So, Gary, that was a great presentation. That's why I love you, man. No, that really was great. Gary gets the warm and fuzzy presentation, and I'm here to irritate you. So we get to talk about COVID. So what do you want to know? I mean, I've tried to summarize because I don't want to bore you to death, so I tried to put together kind of what most people want to know and what the most commonly asked questions are. And right now, that is, where are we as a population, and specifically Montgomery County? So every Wednesday, I get a White House situation report, and it's about COVID, and it breaks it clear down to the county. So, I have it here. I probably won't reference it, but it has graphs, and every detail you can imagine about COVID is in this White House report. So the reality is numbers really have plummeted. Now, I've kind of been reluctant to post on social media these days because there's always somebody that does a Google search and then posts something that contradicts whatever it is you're saying. I mean, if it's on the internet, it must be true, right? So, the internet is an ocean of misinformation. And it's because people tried probably the most useless, commonly uttered phrase to me anymore is the science says. All that really, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard to me, because it's what science? There's social science, there's formal science, applied science, natural science. There's all kinds of sciences, and they all have to be understood and applied to a crisis in order to mitigate it. So you can't come at it from any one angle. So when people say the science says about anything, they didn't apply the other sciences into that as well. So, that's good. I could go on for an hour, and that's why she told me to go 15 minutes, because we've had this conversation, and she's had to run me off. So, but the numbers are way down. We spiked in late November, and now it's a fraction of what it was. And I know that from the White House situation report, and I know that because I work with the health department every day. So our active cases are probably 20% of what they were. They're way down. I talked to Dave, and Dave and Kelly, what she said is absolutely true. Dave and I work together all the time, and if I could have 5 of him, I would love it, because he really handles it, and he stays on top of it, and he isn't afraid to call me at late hours either. So we get a lot of information sharing back and forth. He's great. So, and I'm talking to Dave and Sean and, the Jim Wilhelms and the EMS in Coffeyville, the runs are way down. What did we say? We went like 4 or 5 days without a COVID run? And then we started having a few over last weekend, and they're sporadic now, or used to be continuous every day. So it has gone way down. Hospital Association reports, that hospitalizations are down. We went like 6 days without a COVID hospitalization over a 4-county area. And I'm also so I didn't introduce myself. I guess you all kind of know who I am. I'm the Director of Emergency Management. I'm the District Fire Chief. And I'm also the KEMA vice president, so that's the Kansas Emergency Managers Association. So I have the Southeast region. There's 6 vice presidents in Kansas. So it's a 16-county area. So we just had a KEMA meeting yesterday. So all of the emergency managers over that 16-county area, some come down, some do by Zoom. So we get to compare a lot of notes across counties too, and it's consistent pretty much everywhere. So the reason I mention that is I'm getting into the vaccine. So I understand. I mean, I'm here to get the vaccine to whoever wants it. But what I've always tried to tell people is just relax, just slow down, because there's people that are fighting and clamoring and calling and complaining that I called the same day Gary did and he already got his vaccine and I haven't got mine yet. I mean, it's a complicated process. So, and to that end is part of what I want to explain to everyone is how complicated that is and how big a burden that is on the health department. Everybody seems to think that the health department is just down there and they're doing nothing but COVID. But you have to remember that there were a lot of programs that had to be supported before COVID ever came along, and the health department was already busy. Nobody employs extra people just sitting around just in case. So they had 10 people at the health department, and since COVID, this past year, we've hired 4 more. So now there's 14. Well, that doesn't mean those 14 people or those 4 people can only do COVID, because that's not the case either. The health department has at least 8 other programs that have to be supported. And I've had this question asked to me because there's daycare inspections, there's maternal child, there's the FEP program, the public health emergency preparedness. They do vaccinations, overseas vaccinations, chickenpox, all these different vaccinations they've always done before schools and different things. And the reason people have said, well, why can't that stuff wait? Why can't they just do the COVID and all the vaccines? It's because 90% of the health department's salaries and wages is paid through grant money that supports those programs. If they don't do them, then they don't get paid. And the county, everybody knows, the city doesn't have any extra money. The county doesn't have extra money. Nobody has extra money to pay those salaries. Those programs have to be supported in order to get the grant money from the feds. So they have to continue doing those things. So the 4 people that they've hired, it's because they took on additional programs in order to get the funding to pay them, and then you use them part-time for COVID. So having said all that, they have 6 nurses, 7 counting the director. The director does administration, and the director applies for all the grants, but there's 7 RNs, and then there's 7 other staff members. There's a bilingual person that we had to hire this year because there were so many people that didn't speak English that were calling up having questions about COVID, and we were paying $1,000 a month for a language line. So we decided we needed help. We would find a bilingual person and fill that void. It really did work out well. But anyway, so what we have is there's 3 people that do nothing but answer the phone. And then there's 1 person that enters all the data into the computer from those phone calls. So you can imagine what kind of a cumbersome process that is. So when we decided we were going to do a list and start doing vaccinations for 65 and older, which I'll back up just a little bit there. We started off with healthcare. Everyone knows healthcare was first. And there's so many things, there's no way to find out information. I found that out. Because politics plays a part in this. I mean, Virgil can tell you. If you think politics don't play into this, you're mistaken. So we think that we are the organization that all the information in the vaccine funnels through. That's kind of how we're led. No one says anything different. Then we find out all the hospitals got their own vaccine. Okay, I mean, that was fine. They only got enough for their employees. So then we thought the rest of it was going to come through the health department. Well, I mean, this is my understanding. Every phone call we're on, the health department thought that. And then we started hearing about pharmacies are getting their own vaccine. We had no idea. And there were people telling me on Facebook, well, I heard Walgreens. So we contact Walgreens. Sure enough, they got vaccine too. So there is no single source to find this information out. But we did healthcare first. And after they did their employees, they had to return whatever vaccine was left over. Since then, we've gone down a list, and we've formed a healthcare collaboration team here in Montgomery County. So we meet every couple of weeks, and we all share ideas. We talk about what our next target demographic is going to be, how much vaccine we got in, where it's going to go, all those different things, which is awesome for Montgomery County, because healthcares are typically competitive, so getting them to work together was no small feat. So the next thing we did is after we did healthcare, we did emergency services, police, fire, EMS, we did long-term care, nursing homes, we did senior living, schools. So we started 65 and over, and we also did all the city employees and county employees, critical infrastructure. So we started 65 and over, and we're getting very close to being done with that. The pharmacies did all the nursing homes. So I tried to find out how many people had been vaccinated and how much vaccine we had got, and there's no way to find that out. I texted Dr. Lee Norman last night. I'm sure you guys all know who he is. And he said that they didn't know either. So I got a hold of Phil Griffin. He's the Director of Disease Control and Prevention. So he said they didn't know either. So really nobody knows how many people have actually been vaccinated in Montgomery County. All we can assume is what our best estimate is, and it's pretty consistent with what the state's numbers are, that we've gotten enough vaccine for 30% of the citizens. We vaccinated about 15.5% to 16%, and then about 7.5% or 8% have been fully vaccinated, gotten both shots. And I would say that is pretty consistent. And often people will say, well, 30%, what, are you holding on to it? Well, some of that vaccine you have to keep for the second dose. So if you give 500 first doses, you have to make sure you have 500 second doses when that time comes. And you also have to remember that about 50% of the people are opting out. I think the state average is 55% are taking the vaccine now. It's steadily grown. It was like 33 or 34% back in December of U.S. adults that were going to take the vaccine. We're up to like 50, 55. So you're offering it to a significant number of people that aren't taking it, and that kind of slows things down as well. So the next thing, coming down the last few minutes, I'm trying to speed it up, but the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, a lot of people have been waiting on that. And this is a list of the call list from the health department. I went down there last Wednesday, a week ago, so 9 days ago, and I looked at their list. There was 1,804 people on the health department's list. So this is the list from yesterday, and there's a little over 500. So they really are going through it. They're doing about 100 a day at the health department. We did 500 here, Wednesday? So I wanted to show you what this list is and how difficult it is for these 3 or 4 people to make all these calls and line up these appointments. Because on this list, there's probably 50 on this first page, and there's 10 that made an appointment. There's got elsewhere. Fred wants Johnson & Johnson, doesn't live in the county. Evelyn got it elsewhere, needs a day's notice for a ride, just released from isolation. 48 years old, lives somewhere else. Has a very thick accent, difficult to understand. Phone made a weird number, or weird noise. Fax machine. So it's just on and on and on. So 2/3 of all these callbacks, you don't get somebody, so you leave a message. Then they call back. So those phones are just on fire down there at the health department. It's ridiculous. So people don't understand when you call these places, you have to be patient. There's just no way for these people to do it. They don't have a team of people that do nothing but take calls and make appointments. So the biggest thing I want to cover before we go to, because this is a big topic right now, is the Johnson & Johnson versus Moderna and Pfizer. So fortunately, since I have 2 minutes left, I won't bore you with the sciences between the differences, because one is an adenovirus vector vaccine. The other two are messenger RNA vaccines, and they can't be directly compared. So they talk about Johnson & Johnson. A lot of people want it because it's a single dose, they think. And they say that it works against the variants, because you've all heard about the 5 or 6 different variants, and I was going to tell you about those, but I don't have time. The B117 is the new one everybody's worried about, the UK variant. So they say Johnson & Johnson is supposed to work against those better. But it's not actually true, because the Moderna and the Pfizer clinical trials went through the summer and into the fall before we knew about the variants. So there hasn't been any testing done on how effective they are against those variants. Johnson & Johnson is more recent, so it has been tried out against them. And so the FDA, excuse me, the FDA's analysis says that Johnson & Johnson is 72% effective against the variants. And that's their analysis, but there's South African studies that show 64%. So then they say there may be a booster shot down the road, which is 2 shots. So the bottom line is should you wait on the Johnson & Johnson or get the Moderna or even pick between the 3? Probably not. And I have done a lot of study, a lot of research. I can tell you the differences and how they were created, how they affect on the body and all those different things. And reality is it really doesn't matter. The Moderna is the one we were hoping we would stick with, because that's what we've had all along. But we got 300 Johnson & Johnsons in Wednesday, so we're getting ready to start through all of that. And we've been sharing that vaccine with all of the healthcare systems. So when we get a shipment in, we'll give CRMC, Wilson, Labette, and what's the other one? Community Health Center. We'll give all of them vaccine and let them work on their lists while we do our list. So we're doing clinics, mass vaccination clinics. We have one scheduled today at 10 in Caney. We're going to do one in Cherryvale. We'll do another one here the 31st. So we're going as fast as we can. We're getting ready to move into the next phase, which is going to be industry. So we're starting to compile lists from all the industries on all their employees. So we'll go to Textron, we'll go to John Deere, Standard, and do all their employees on site. And then what happens? I don't know. That's 15 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm sorry. I tried to hurry.
That was awesome and great information, and I think it just puts it in perspective for all of us that are around people who are frustrated and they don't know what to do. I know that he has a meeting to go to, but he'll stick around. So, and he's available to all of us. You can call and visit with him and private message him on Facebook. But I know he's willing to answer any questions that you might have if you're concerned or you need to know what you need to do to be able to get your vaccination. So we appreciate everything that you need a big vacation after all of this, right? You know, and I always say this when you were talking about the health department having 10 employees and now they have 4 and they have to continue on. I was sitting there thinking that I thought, oh, they probably just stopped what they were doing and everybody went full on COVID. And, that didn't happen at the chamber. Why would it happen at, anywhere else? And so it's easy to kind of sit back and judge and think that they should have this all under control. And COVID didn't send an instruction manual when it decided to arrive. So we're just trying to figure this out as we move along. So we appreciate everything you're doing. And I think 14 thank you notes would be very well received at the county health department if anybody's looking for something to do. So we are finished with our speakers, but we do shout outs at the end. The shout outs have to be cleared with me, and so I've got 4 shout outs, so don't be shouting out if you are not on the list. You know who you are. But I do want to say thank you again to all of our speakers this morning. I appreciate you carving out time and preparing to present at First Friday. I want to thank Enbridge Pipeline and Brent Rush, who is the Senior Community Engagement Advisor. Remember, call 811 before you put a shovel in the ground this spring and summer. And if you're interested in donating to a tree or a flag, you can call the chamber office at 331-1890, and they can give you more information later on today. So with that, I need 4 people to come up. Marcy Roberts is going to talk about the Blue Cross Blue Shield Pathway Survey. She'll be passing out some little cards when she walks out, and or when you walk out. David Cowan will be up next. Marcy, I'm going to have you come right up here, and followed by Larry Markevich and Paige Petruka. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa, for having me. As she said, my name is Marcy Roberts, and I'm the coordinator for the Pathways, Blue Cross Blue Shield Pathways Grant for Montgomery County. This is a coordinated effort between Montgomery and Lebec County, and so we're really fortunate to have it in our area. We're working on pathways, work plans right now in different areas that we have funding secured for, and those areas are like ways to improve healthy eating, ways to improve active living, and to prevent tobacco use. So some of those areas are community gardens, healthier retail marketing, ways to help our grocers begin to advertise and market healthier items. And then also, we're looking at an active transportation advisory board between the 2 counties. So if any of you are interested in active transportation and looking at developing a plan for multimodal transportation between our counties, like rails to trails, just active living, please let me know. So we'd be glad to have you. So these surveys are part of our requirement, and this is going to help us give feedback to decision makers. If there's any information that Lisa or the city or the county need as far as what the public is telling us that they want, this would be very helpful information. So we ask you to please fill out a survey. I'm going to have Lisa try to share it out next week. And then also I've got 2 forms. I've got a paper copy if you would prefer just to write it on paper, and you could drop it off at the chamber later. And then if you would rather do it on your phone, I have that QR code as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We all promise, right, to take the survey. Up next is David.
Thank you, Lisa. The city wants to tell you in 2018 in the fall, we passed a strategic plan, which is a 5-year plan. And you were all very much involved in that, and you all did a survey back in, I believe it was early 2019. It's 2.5 years, we're halfway through the plan, and the plan calls for another survey. So 1st of April, approximately, a new survey will be available for the community. It is fairly long, but you can do it either through the internet or you can do paper copies. They'll be available through different places throughout the community, but we need your information and your feelings. That helps us as a city, it helps the commission to understand what you're wanting to see, trails, bike paths, infrastructure, all of those things about our community and what we have done. And I believe Kelly's speaking next first Friday to give you some information about the strategic plan and what we have accomplished in the last 2.5 years. So be looking forward to that. It'll be shared through the city, chamber, all the different social media outlets that the survey will be coming out very shortly in April. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Larry Markevich. I teach instrumental music over at the college. And just like the Moderna shot, each month I'm going to come up here and give you another dose of what's coming up. The music department hibernated in the winter, and that was on purpose because of COVID. But starting this month, we have 2 performances. We have a New York City virtuoso violinist coming for a week in the end of March, and he's doing a recital. His name is Robert Radliff. And he'll be doing a violin recital on Friday, the 19th at the Inch Theater. It's free. And if you want to hear a real pro, I mean, this guy is as good as they get. He's going to do a full recital. Karen Knox is the accompanist. And then a couple days later, on Monday night, the 22nd of March, so it's a 3-day weekend, Friday concert at the Inch. Monday night, the 22nd, right upstairs at Memorial Hall, will be the second orchestra concert. I created a ICC orchestra due to the great response from our community and our students. I now have 3 string majors at the college, first time ever. And we're excited. The concert will continue Beethoven's 250th birthday celebration, as well as pieces that you will recognize. If you've ever seen the Vienna New Year's Eve concert, we're doing several of those pieces because this whole concert is a salute to Vienna. So we hope to see you upstairs on the 22nd and on the 19th. And next month I'll tell you about more. We have 8 main stage band or orchestra concerts and jazz band between now and May 10th. So it's going to be a busy spring. We hope to see you out there. Thank you.
That's why we're so fortunate to have the college. Come on up, Paige. Tell us more. Push it up. If it's green, it's on.
I don't actually need it. Nope, it's not on.
Yeah.
It's on. Hi. Hi, everybody. Paige Petruka with Independence Community College. I am one of the theater professors. And, we have an incredible event coming up next weekend, Steel Magnolias. And in fact, I brought from Chinkapin Parish, Louisiana, Clary Belcher. Clary, tell us a little bit about the show.
Nobody applauded for Clary, but that's okay.
Oh, let's give Clary some applause. Yes.
Thank you. It is so nice to be in this place called Independence. Is that right?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Chickapin just a little bit smaller, so it's just kind of a big deal. They have this Friday thing. Is this every Friday?
No. First Friday of the month.
Oh, it's just so much lovely people. It's so nice. I might have to come back here.
Please, anytime you are welcome, Clary.
Oh, thank you. We're going to be in your town, Independence, Kansas, and that's going to be on March 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Yes.
That is a Friday and a Saturday and a Sunday. Now, on the Friday, Saturday, we're going to be out there at
7 o'clock.
7, that's right. I have to be there a little early to make sure the place is all pretty for you, So I get kind of confused sometimes. But on the Sunday, now that's the day because it's going to be so sunny and pretty. That's what we're planning for. And that's going to be at 2
o'clock.
Yes, 2 o'clock. And I might just have to stay there because, it's going to be a big time. And I cannot wait. Oh, there's such lovely peoples we're bringing. There's this little girl called Shelby. See, now Lloyd and I, we never had any children, and I would just love to take little Shelby home with me. May I say something about?
Yes, that's
right,
okay,
because
Lisa. Right?
This is my first time here, and I got to hear these lovely people talking. And like I said, Lloyd and I, bless his heart, he's been gone since November, but we'll talk more about that later. If you come to the show, we'll tell you. But we never had our own children, and that little Larry guy, where is he? Larry, Mr. Larry, I would adopt you in a heartbeat. I would. You were just adorable.
Clary,
yes,
can you
I'm
answer
sorry.
a couple questions? How much is it to get in?
Oh, it's free, honey.
It's free?
Yeah, we don't ask no money. Now, if you would like to help support the theater arts in your area, especially at your college here in town, you can donate anything you want at any time.
Perfect. That's great.
Yeah, because we want all the people to come and see and enjoy.
We do.
There's
Come and
such
enjoy.
loveliness that happens out there. There's all kinds of little young people trying to learn how to do theater.
I hear that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they're so good. They have such a wonderful educator. And I know I can talk too much. But
Wait, one more thing. Can you tell us about the COVID thing, what we're doing to protect everybody?
The COVID. This is something we all very aware of. So we want to make sure all the peoples are very well taken care of. So that's why we ask if when you come to see the shows at the ICC, the theater.
The William Inge Theater.
Inge Theater, that's right. Make sure you bring little masks to look at them. Aren't they cute? I love them. There's so many different types and kinds.
And the people on stage are going to be wearing things similar to yours, right? To what you have on.
See, Clary, I am just so expressive. They said, now, honey, you've got to wear those clear ones because everybody wants to see your beautiful face. And I said, well, thank you, but I'll do that for you. So come on out. You'll get to see all the faces and all the funs and yeah.
Oh, Clary, we're honored to have you here in our little town, and we can't wait to see you on stage next week.
Well, I do enjoy it. I want to broaden my horizons, get more theater in my life because I really do love football. I love. How many of y'all love football? Right? I'm a football lover.
And how many of you love theater?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm starting to love it too.
very
right?
good. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap it up, but thank you so much for your time. If anybody has questions, you can go to our Fine Arts at ICC Facebook page. It's got Larry's stuff, my stuff, art stuff. And we just want you to come and enjoy. It's a fabulous show, and this woman is incredible. That's all.
Thank you for having us. It's so sweet of you.
All right, well, that brings us to the close of First Friday. I want to thank everyone for tuning in on Facebook Live, watching it later on YouTube, being present and accounted for here this morning. And stay safe, stay safe. And on the 24th, make sure you get out and spread some love in the community and have a great weekend. Thank you for coming.